item in a show, this is it. I'm just a firm believer in ingenuity. This is called the Bionic Grip. For many, many years, for generations, tools to loosen or to tighten a fastener had to be the exact same size as that nut or that bolt. So guys like me would buy entire socket sets. And I had a wall of tools. And I'll be honest, I was proud of them. You know, the toolbox that I had was a professional mechanic's toolbox. And I'm not a mechanic, but I worked with them for almost 8 years. And there was a certain pride in having this huge, massive box with drawers, but I could never find anything. A father and son duo just simply came up with a much smarter idea. This wrench will accommodate nuts and bolts that are anywhere from 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. In metric, that's going to be anywhere from 13 to 20 millimeters. And it not only fits the individual bolt, but it also has its own ratcheting action. All of these features are built into a piece of equipment with a lifetime manufacturer's warranty and is made in the US of A. I think our price of $32.50 is very reasonable. And now they make them for us in colors, which I thought was kind of cool. So I do have a red, there's a blue, I've got a yellow. By the way, the yellow is by far the most limited, it's a little over 300. And then I also have a green. And the green, I've only got about 750 or so in that green. Pick your color, get it. It's not too early for Dad's Day. I know that's in June, but it's a tool that you'll use. You'll use it often. Let me bring my tool guy in. Howard Irvine is a tool guy. This guy is one of the most innovative, creative forces. He breaks things just to fix them for fun. How you doing, Howard?
Good. How are you, Dan?
I'm good. Good. Getting ready for the weekend.
Yes. Yeah. Lots of projects, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I know I have my list.
Well,
And
what
Bionic
makes
Grip
the
is part of
Bionic
it.
Grip different than, say, a regular pair of pliers? Where a pair of pliers, you're relying upon how hard you can grip to determine what nuts and bolts you can get off. That's not the case with the automatic
No,
grip
the
here.
patented gripping action sets it apart from any other tool in my toolbox. And I'd have to take an entire toolbox of things like this with me, or I could take this because this one has the sizes, 13 different sizes, standard or metric. I don't have to worry about what it is. And that patented gripping action is what sets it apart. As you squeeze the handles, those 4 jaws come in equally, gripping on all 4 sides. And because it's open on the end, and because the teeth have serrations in them, it lets you grip the round things like pipes. So you're able to do those plumbing projects or automotive projects, and you can just go from side to side and never worry. There's that patented gripping action. You can see, unlike any tool in the toolbox, those 4 jaws are coming in. There you see, as you go size to size, it doesn't matter. Was that a standard? Was that a metric? Who cares? You have the right tool with this one tool. It's gripping that, you release, you reposition. It's like a ratcheting action there by just turning back, gripping it again, and keep on turning. And there's the pipes. I do replacing the faucets under the sinks, putting new water heater in.
Yep.
All those things require something to hold the pipe while you fasten the other parts to it. And this makes it so easy. With a standard wrench, you have to have exactly the right tool, or pliers, and then you risk rounding it off. This one even works on the rounded off nuts and bolts because it sizes precisely and grips on the sides and not the corners. And that's what sets it apart. When you see it gripping, it doesn't even touch the corners. And the corners are what an ordinary tool relies on. A standard wrench only grips the corners. The open-ended side grips just 2 corners.
Yeah.
The closed end grips 6 corners, but not the sides. And that's what means when you take a normal wrench and try to find that you have to have just the right size. It doesn't have to be any of those. This one is the right size. Any of these I can go to, and when I squeeze down on that, it grips it hard enough I can pick the whole display up, and yet instantly releases and goes on to the next size. Couldn't be any easier. Things with no corners, things that are rounded off, things that have paint on them, things that have grass on them, like we saw that lawnmower. Here's a socket with the exact size brass bolt, and the brass is very easy to round off, and it spins freely in there. There's no way you could get that loose or tight. With a regular tool, with the Bionic wrench, it's a rock solid grip on there, and it won't let go until I release. And it's that simple. There's no knobs, there's no buttons, there's no levers.
You and I have seen laughable gimmicks, gadgets, and toys in the tool world. Items
Yes.
that you look at and you go, there's no way that somebody's going to use that. I had seen so many of them that honestly I'd started losing faith in tool designers, and then I saw the original Bionic wrench. This is the Bionic Grip, which is the open-ended design. They laminate this with American-made Pittsburgh steel. The mechanism has a lifetime warranty to it. And Howard, I'm like you. Well, I got to give you more credit than me. You're more of a do-it-yourselfer than I am. Howard and I both own rental properties. We both own lawn and garden equipment. One of the toughest nuts to get off of any piece of equipment is the one that holds the blade underneath your mower.
Yes.
Because it's always gunked up with grass. So even though
and then it doesn't fit.
Yeah, the socket doesn't fit. But this fits every time. So it just becomes the wrench you go to first. And that's why I like it so much.
Yep. We deal with so many things in this country that are standard or metric. We have both here.
Yep.
And it's hard for me to guess. It's hard for even a professional to guess. Is this a 3/4 or is it a 20 millimeter? I don't know. And if you don't guess the right size with an ordinary wrench, it won't work. But with this one, it does. Whether it's the largest size or the small size, from 1/2 inch up to 3/4 of an inch, from 13 millimeters up to 20 millimeters, you've got the right size. Fits in your pocket. We mentioned the colors, Dan, but we didn't mention the nice rubberized grip. That is one of my favorite things to have on a tool, especially when it's cold today. Yesterday was beautiful. Today is cold. So when I'm doing projects, I don't have to worry about gripping that cold, thin steel in my hand. This is a nice, wide, soft grip, and it feels great in my hand.
Howard, it's funny. My wife and I had a conversation, and we're going back a couple years ago. I was looking at having to retrofit and add a completely new set of tools to my barn, because my barn and my garage are separated by acres. But whenever I had to do a project, I'd have to take tools from the garage all the way out to the barn. And it was a pain. I was carrying countless number of sockets because it was different sized nuts and bolts. With the Bionic wrench and the Bionic grip, I take a normal set of screwdrivers and I take 2 wrenches, the Bionic grip, the Bionic wrench, and usually I can get 99% of the jobs I need to do in the barn done. It saved me a lot of frustration. And a tool is supposed to give you strength, but a hand tool can only give you strength in proportion to how well it grips the nut or bolt. And I know you've got the stick. I can't remember what it is. When you're grabbing on the sides, how much more torque does it give you?
I don't know if there's an exact number, but you're gripping on all 4 sides with this. I know what it is on the Bionic wrench, but this is the grip, and then it has the serrations and the forge jaws so that you can get around things like the pipes, things that have been rounded off, any of those sizes, and it's just rock solid on there and easy to take with you. Like you said, the duplication of tools, it's nice to even keep one of these in the barn, in the garage, in the house, in that junk drawer with the screwdriver and the hammer. This is the other part of that. When that table leg is loose, when the latch on your gate in the backyard is loose, you can grab this and you can go out, and it doesn't matter what size it is because it fits all those common sizes from 1/2 to 3/4, from 13 to 20 millimeters, and it has a lifetime warranty, so you know you're getting a quality tool.
We've already had.
So light.
I'm sorry, pardon me. I apologize. Didn't mean to interrupt. We've already had 38,000 people who have picked them up. Today is actually the very first day for the whole year that we've had it marked this low at $32.50. So I am urging people to pick it up now, before Father's Day, before Spring Rush. It's one of those tools also. I don't read directions on tools. Do you, Howard? I mean, if it's a plasma cutter or a welder, if it's something complex, I will. But by golly, if it's a hand tool, you ought to be able to figure it out just by using it. With this, it's the first time you use it, you're going to know you've got something better.
Yeah, there's really no instructions needed. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
You put it on there and you squeeze the handles together. There's no knobs, switches, levers, buttons. It's just instant. And you can go, again, from size to size. And that ratcheting action by simply releasing and repositioning makes the jobs go faster. And there you see, I went from the smallest to the largest, and I didn't even have to look at it. It just goes right on and fits.
For years, I had an automobile restoration shop, and my mechanics, they prided themselves on being able to look at a nut or a bolt and tell you what size it was. Now, that was like their IQ test. And I can guess every once in a while, but 9 out of 10 times I'm going to be wrong, which means I'm going back to the toolbox to get a different size wrench or a different size socket. With this, you just don't have to worry about it. It's a really, really different idea. I love that it is patented. An American father and son created it and then made the decision to make it here in America as well. Listen, all that griping that us tool guys say about, wish we made more tools here. Well, It's time to support the American inventor. It's time to support a family-owned and operated business. You're going to spend a little bit more usually, but that sale price, that's the first time this year that we've had it marked this low. It's good to see you, Howard.
It's a wonderful tool to have in the toolbox. Thank you, Dan.
Take care. Be well.
You too.
That's a good guy right there. That was my favorite item of the show. I'm going to take a real quick break. I'll make a confession to you. I love candles, and not all of them. Harry Slatkin is recognized internationally with the title of being the nose. Now that sounds derogatory, but in his business of home fragrance, it's actually the highest professional compliment that can be paid. I've got an entire hour of Harry Slatkin and Homework candles coming up. Let me share something with you, because they'll change your mood. See you in a second.